Hello, my name is Grady Boyle, and I will be discussing the carbon content of forested soils today. More specifically, I will be discussing the carbon ratios within the organic matter of these soils. Carbon content is the single most important factor in determining a soil's properties and health. It affects everything from the water holding capacity to the cation exchange capacity and reactivity. When estimating carbon content of soils, loss on ignition is one of the most widely used methods. Soils are heated in an oven to over 500 degrees, combusting the organic matter away. Using the before and after weights, we are able to tell what percentage of this soil was organic. This organic percent is then used to find the carbon content. By applying a conversion factor of 0.5, we can then find out what percentage of this soil was carbon. Evidence from previous research, however, showed that this conversion factor of 0.5 may not be applicable for Spodosols, one of the 12 soil orders that makes up a large portion of forested soils, especially here in Michigan. To examine this further, Evan Kane and I compiled a data set consisting of Spodosols and Inceptisols from the International Soil Carbon Network, a publicly available data source, as well as some from here at Michigan Tech. This data set had over 1,200 soil horizons from all across the United States, allowing us to examine relationships between a variety of factors such as pH and layer depth. This allowed us to see whether this conversion factor was flawed, and if it was flawed, what may cause it. Spodosols and Inceptisols, pictured here, are two of the broad categories that we use to describe a soil. There are 12 total soil orders. Spodosols, on the left, are an extremely weathered soil with very distinct horizonization, seen by these bands of color here. Inceptisols are a much younger soil with very little horizonization. Both are commonly forested, and both are used commonly for production timber forest here in the Lake States. And by using these two soil orders, we are not only able to examine whether Spodosols do differ from other soil orders, but also determine whether the horizonization has some effect. After employing a variety of statistical modeling techniques, we found that Spodosols' carbon to loss on ignition ratios were significantly lower than that of Inceptisols. We also found that this ratio varied based on horizon and layer depth. And when horizon and layer depth were combined, this became a strong predicting factor for Spodosols, as seen on the right in the top chart here, and what their carbon content to loss on ignition ratio would be. We also saw that a large portion of these Spodosols do drop below that expected ratio, especially when moving beyond a certain depth. This pattern is not mimicked in Inceptisols, where no clear pattern develops, and throughout the entire profile, there appears to be horizons on either side of this expected conversion factor of 0.5. From here, we hope to develop a better set of ratios that allows us to take into account layer depth and horizonization when considering calculating soil carbon for Spodosols. We hope this will allow land managers and researchers to make more accurate carbon content estimations. I would like to acknowledge Michigan Tech University and the DeVlieg Foundation for funding my research, as well as Evan Kane and Luke Nave for their assistance and time investment into my project. I would also like to thank the ISDN, without which the data for this project would not have been possible. Thank you.